Next week, world leaders will meet in Glasgow for COP26, a series of meetings and negotiations attempting to address the ongoing climate crisis. It's like Comic-Con, but with fewer costumes, but the same amount of fucking nerds! Boris Johnson has been on a real green push this week, with a climate op-ed in The Sun, there's £5,000 subsidies for heat pumps to replace gas boilers, and a deal with Bill Gates to develop clean energy. It's like he's realised that the majority of children who'll have to deal with the effects of climate change are mainly his. It really does feel like momentum for supporting climate action is actually picking up pace. At the weekend, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge attended the first Earthshot Prize ceremony, Prince William's 10-year-long scheme to award £1 million to people who come up with ideas to protect the planet. Unfortunately, my entry, big-ass fan in space, was deemed moronic, and my accompanying blueprints apparently shouldn't have been written on a napkin. But for those of us who aren't winning £1 million prizes, we just rinse out our yoghurt pots and we hope for the best. I mean, I don't, but that's only because my girlfriend has told me I'm no longer allowed yoghurt after what she and my plumber referred to as the incident. So, we rinse our yoghurt pots, we buy all the eco products we can think of, and we all focus on our carbon footprint. And all of this makes us rightly think about what we, as individuals, are contributing to climate change. But it can distract us from the climate impacts of massive organisations or governments. It's a bit like when you're meeting a mutual friend and someone says, "Oh, say hello from me." It's a nice gesture, but in the grand scheme of things, it's goddamn pointless. For example, many councils don't actually recycle those yoghurt pots, whether they be rinsed or not. And the phrase carbon footprint was popularised in the early 2000s by the PR firm Ogilvy and Mather, who were working for BP. In 2004, they launched a carbon footprint calculator. The move was part of a campaign to shift focus onto individual responsibility and let corporations off the hook. And listen, a carbon footprint calculator is not a fun calculator. Not like a normal one where you can use it to type the word boobs. Whatever number you put into this one, it just says, "You are an earth murderer." It also makes BP the only business that actively shames you for using its products. Chicken Cottage doesn't serve all my chicken in a box that says, "You disgusting, greedy little boy." But maybe they should. I'd pay extra. And ultimately, it is an attempt to shift blame. Sure, it's good for all of us to know about our carbon footprints, but BP's carbon footprint is all of carbon. Let me put it this way. I once flew from Edinburgh to London and I was ashamed of my carbon footprint. However, considering the 2010 Deepwater Horizon spill in which BP released over 4 million barrels of oil into the Gulf of Mexico, I'm more concerned about the footprint of the oil executive who's got both feet shoved up the arseholes of a pair of seagulls dripping in Macondo crude. Sidebar, I am aware that birds don't have arseholes, but instead have a cloaca. But if you're the sort of person who would bring that up, fuck you. Fuck you right in the cloaca. And look, I get it. Oil companies profited from the causes of climate change, so it's in their interest to distance themselves from the consequences. No one's inviting Captain Morgan to their AA meeting. Though, in fairness, a pirate ship would definitely be the coolest way to get there. Where corporations have failed, governments have to step up, but the ones who could really make a difference seem to be dropping the ball. Reports suggest Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping may not be attending COP26. China is responsible for over a quarter of global emissions. This is like the entire royal family, apart from Prince Andrew, signing a letter promising to stop being mates with absolute gigapedos. Andrew just sends an email, and the email just said, "Listen, I would love to sign up, but I'm keeping my options open. What if one of them is really cool and owns a pool table?" Now, the good news is that Joe Biden is set to attend. The bad news is that his attempts to improve his nation's environmental record are being stymied by a member of his own party, Democratic Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia. Manchin is refusing to support Biden's budget bill, and he's the decisive vote in the Senate. Now, Manchin is refusing to do so because of the provisions to move America to renewable energy. And surprise, surprise, he makes loads of money from the coal industry. He also chairs the Senate's Energy and Natural Resources Committee. That is a clear conflict of interest. Why stop there, America? Why not have Willy Wonka head a congressional committee on child safety, slave labour and weird sweets? Mahatma Gandhi once reportedly said, whatever you do will be insignificant, but it is very important that you do it. Maybe all you can do is rinse the yoghurt pot. That's fine. But shunting responsibility to individuals will always be a surefire way for major polluters not to change their ways. Individual action is absolutely useful, but major change from big corporations and governments is essential. So look, the eyes of the world will be on the COP summit. And things like this are a negotiation, there has to be some give and take. And I'm calling on everyone to do their bit. So, to the governments and the corporations of the world, I say this: we'll do our part if you do yours. With these Late Night MASH climate commitments. Miriam, in Haywards Heath, you can do your bit by eating corn once a week. She in Beijing, you can do your bit by using your absolute power over an economy of $15 trillion per year to divest from coal. Terry in Lincoln can think about joining that bike-to-work scheme. Joe in West Virginia, you can personally greenlight $150 billion of clean energy spending. And that doesn't mean going without. You can still masturbate over how long you said no for. Clint in Rotherham, you can rinse that yoghurt pot before you put it in the recycling. BP, you can rinse the Gulf of Mexico? I don't know. And seeing as we're all in this together, I will do my part by taking my own Tupperware to the chicken shop. The point is, we can all do our bit, but some of us should really focus the fuck up on our bit, because our bit is massive.